Thank you so much for staying with us. Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at what we have on the front page of the local dailies, but pretty fast, because right now in studio I have got my guest, who is the Deputy Governor of Siaya County, Dr. William Oduol. What is ailing Siaya County? For quite a number of months now, there's not been such not a good kind of relationship between him and his boss. And today he's here to set the record straight. And he is here in studio for that particular purpose. That is Dr. William Oduol, who is the Deputy Governor of Siaya County. There you have him. Welcome to the program, Deputy Governor.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll get into that briefly, but first let me take you just on the front page of local dailies. On the front page of the Star newspaper, Ruto UDA MPs in a tight spot over tax laws. Ruto UDA MPs in a tight spot over tax laws. Finance bill increasingly getting opposition from many Kenyans. That is now the dilemma that the Kenya Kwanza and lawmakers now fear of betraying voters and failing the president. Now that is what we call a straight jacket. Was that happening yesterday? The public sector unions were also yesterday on the streets protesting over the same. On the front page of the Daily Nation, a fund for every president, then loss of billions of shillings. A fund for every president, then loss of billions of shillings. President Mwai Kibaki had Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, Land Settlement Fund, Rural Enterprise Fund, etc., etc. President Uhuru Kenyatta had Uwezo Fund, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and so much more. President William Ruto right now has Hustler Fund and Housing Fund going at a tune of 9 billion shillings. President Uhuru Kenyatta had 4.6 billion shillings and the late President Mwai Kibaki 3.3 billion shillings. On the front page of the Daily Nation, Siaya MCAs vote 38-1 to kick out Deputy Governor. The gentleman in studio right now, he'll answer to that. On the front page of the People Daily, unions in strike, threat over tax. Unions in strike, threat over tax. Labor movement representing government workers sends petition to opposition MPs asking them to reject finance bill over housing levy, even as they warn that they will paralyze services if Parliament passes it. They were on the streets yesterday. Again, on the front page of the People Daily, MCS vote to eject Orengo deputy in Rao. He is in studio to answer to that as well. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Nation, Ruto faces taxes rebellion among Mount Kenya MPs. Ruto faces taxes rebellion among Mount Kenya MPs. Elected leaders from the deputy president's backyard are on an easy lot after attempts to make them embrace new tax measures have fallen flat. Now locals instead want taxes reduced to make life more affordable. A straight jacket. Again, on the front page of the Standard, county bosses fight at expense of service delivery. That story continues on page 14 and 15 of this particular newspaper. And the gentleman who is going to answer that question is the Deputy Governor of Siaya County. Service delivery. He's at loggerheads with his boss, James Orengo. Right about now, let's get straight into it. Deputy Governor, welcome once again to the program. This is Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you very much.
How is Siaya County doing?
Well, it could be better. Good is never good enough. I must say that we've been in the papers for all the wrong reasons, but largely stemming from governance, governance challenges. James Orengo and I have disagreed, and our disagreement is not personal. I've said this before. Our disagreement is ideological. We somewhat disagree on how we want to run Siaya. I am championing financial discipline as part of our core mandate. James Orengo, the governor, and myself, when we were elected as a leadership, we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the state of affairs of finances of Siaya County are show a true and fair view. And to that extent, when we started, I am an accountant by training, and I'm a leadership and governance expert. So those particular strengths are strengths that I thought I needed to bring to the table. And how I was bringing them to the table was through putting into place the right systems, structures, specifically in finance, because that's where the business was, the county was losing money.
Okay, let's just go back to where it all began.
Right.
Where is the beginning of your problem with Governor James Orengo? You went to an election,
right?
The two of you. Siaya County voted the two of you.
Right.
In 2013, you performed extremely particular well, and you know, whichever way it went.
Right.
And in 2022, you and Governor Orengo went to the ballot once again.
Right.
So what happened 9 months later?
So we started very well. The first 3 months, first I want to confess here that James Orengo is my friend. And when we went into the campaigns, we were very, very close. And when we started working, the first 3 months, we worked very, very well together. Remember, he's a fine legal mind. And like I said, I am an accountant. Those two mix of skills brought together was going to take Siaya to the next level. So I was primarily responsible for ensuring that we streamline the finance operations. And for the first 3 months, we did that very well. But towards the tail end of November, I noticed abnormal, huge withdrawals, particularly on interest. So I summoned the finance officer in charge about the withdrawals. And when I summoned him, he was a little cagey. He was not upfront. And I insisted and even threatened that I was going to invite ESCC if he did not explain these huge withdrawals. So eventually he mentioned that he would withdraw and take to the governor. So I confronted the governor, but the governor said no, he denied. And so I left it at that, hoping that even if he was doing it, at least he would reduce or stop it altogether. December time frame, same habit obtained. They were still withdrawing money. January still continued. In the month of November, the withdrawals from interest alone was 46 million. In the month of December, withdrawal from interest was 41 million.
Was it from the previous administration or from the current administration?
Current. I'm talking about last year when we were already in office. 46 million November, 41 million December, over 20 million January. In record 3 months, they had withdrawn in excess of 100 million. And from November, when I confronted James Orengo, towards December, I noticed that our relationship, we were drifting apart. We were becoming less close. January, our engagement was very far and in between. Now, the one that broke the camel's back was in February. Mid-February, James Orengo made some reshuffle in finance. Without consulting me, I noticed that the people that had been interdicted, that had been sanctioned because of the 600 million and 400 million theft, the people that were under investigation, 4 of them, James Orengo brought them back to finance in their previous positions. Then I realized now I needed to make noise and let the public know. And that's when now I went public. And when I went public, the assembly summoned me over the allegations I was making, because I was talking about plunder, theft of public money, public funds. And so they asked me to go and explain. So I submitted written evidence, which written evidence they dismissed the other day.
That's before the floor of the county assembly?
Before the floor of the county assembly.
Okay.
Actually, I had gone hoping that I would do an oral presentation even as I submit my written evidence. But unfortunately, I was not given the opportunity, so I submitted my written evidence. And even that written evidence that I submitted, they did not invite, because there are folks that had mentioned adversely.
Yes.
And they went back to them and seeking responses. I had hoped that in the spirit of fairness, they were going to invite me to go and substantiate. They didn't. And went ahead and made a determination on my written evidence.
Okay. Deputy Governor, I wanted to give you that 2 minutes so that you can give us a complete background of what really happens from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
You are appearing on the front page of 3 main dailies. On the front page of the Daily Nation, Standard, you are on page 14 and page 15, fully fleshed out. On the front page of the People Daily, as well as on the front page of the Daily Nation. What does this really mean to you? Because 38 MCAs out of 42 voted for that proposal for you to be impeached.
So, I looked at the grounds for impeachment. And the irony is that those grounds are complete departure from the original summons that they had issued. Remember, initially we were talking about misappropriation of funds in Siaya County. And the grounds that they have advanced now, the 3 grounds primarily. Number one, they are saying that I interfered with some tendering process, I think for some roads, and then there was fertilizer and seeds. And then the other one is that I did renovations for my office to the tune of 18 million, which was not budgeted.
Yes.
Now, I do not want to discuss those grounds because I'm going to have my day with the Assembly on the 6th, which is going to be next week. So I don't agree with those grounds. I think they're imaginary. They are concocted. They are frivolous. They are not true.
Okay, let me take you back to what the MCAs said.
Yes.
The MCAs who voted by way of secret ballots accused you of working in cohort with the Kenya Kwanza administration. The Assembly also formed a 14-member committee that you'll appear before that 14-member committee next week. And the ouster motion was the first order of business yesterday. Now that is a serious one. The issue here is that in the motion, the MCAs accused you of abuse of office and gross misconduct, gross violation of the Constitution, and misleading public by giving false information. What do you make of these accusations before the floor of the County Assembly?
So I have not given false accusation to the public. Even today, Victor, on this table are documents I present to the Assembly. I have bank statements.
Okay.
I have, if you look at this,
let me have them.
Just as an example, or you want all of them?
Just have a few. I'll go through them.
So these are bank statements showing withdrawals. I have requisitions from the finance guy asking the head of IFMIS to transfer money from recurrent account to Impressed. So, I mean, I have been talking about these issues for the last 3 months now, 4 months. And I have said James Orengo is a fine lawyer, legal mind. Why are they not taking me to court for defamation? And
that is the same question I want to ask you, DG. We have got internal dispute resolution.
Yes.
Before you went public, did you as a county exhaust all these avenues?
For 3 months. From November, when I first confronted James Orengo, December, November, December, January, mid-February, I was engaging internal mechanism. Remember, I'm part of the executive. I didn't want to wash our dirty linen in public. So I tried to engage and have discussions with James Orengo those 3 months. And unfortunately, that fell on deaf ears.
What did you do?
I confronted him, first and foremost, as I had said in November, on these withdrawals. When they continued, I continued engaging him. And I told him, we cannot continue doing what was being done in the previous administration.
Yeah.
And nothing changed. In fact, on the contrary, he decided to drift apart, to disengage. And so, you know, our relationship suffered in the process. Yeah.
On a personal level, and as your boss, have you ever taken your phone and called him directly to have a one-on-one conversation with Governor James Orengo?
So, I have not talked to James Orengo for now in excess of, I think, 2 months.
That is dangerous, DG.
It is very dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. The last time when I tried to call him, he did not pick up my call. I actually called him 2 or 3 times, and then I gave up.
The issue of interest is at the center stage of all this.
Yes.
There is 200,000 shillings in question and another 400,000 shillings in question. One you went to Mombasa and another one you were in Siaya Resort in Kisumu.
Yes.
What is the whole situation about these monies?
You see, it is defeatist of the assembly to attempt to paint me with the corruption brush. You know, they're trying to throw a lot of mud on the wall, hoping that some is going to stick. That 200,000 spent was an official trip to Siaya LREB meeting. James Orengo also attended that meeting. Now, the irony is that they chose to bring out my expenditure and did not bring James Orengo's. I am sure his is even much higher. And by the way,
was it surrendered?
By the way, let me just finish that point. That money has not been advanced to us. We have not received that money.
Okay.
And that money is not William Oduol money. That allowance, I have a personal assistant, I have a security, I have a driver, I have an official car. When I go out of town, your advanced money for accommodation, for food, and for fuel. That 200,000 was my allowance, our allowance, not William Oduol's, our allowance for a whole 3-4 days in Siaya Resort in Kisumu. So it's legitimate official business expense. The one for Mombasa is ISPAC. ISPAC workshop in Mombasa. I am an accountant. I'm a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. I was not alone. Even the folks from finance, some of them, it was an official invite. So it was an official trip, legitimate. And those expenses, because I am talking about corruption, Victor, my people, myself, my staff are punished. Orengo staff got the allowance the following day. These people, my staff, they have not received that money because I am fighting corruption in Siaya County. The people in finance have deliberately sat on those payments.
So these are impressed?
Impressed.
Okay.
They are impressed.
Surrendering, have they been surrendered?
Yes, they have.
What did your office do about them?
You see, when you surrender, you submit receipts. We have surrendered, but we've not been paid the money. They are sitting on them because of my fight for corruption. So that just shows you how malicious this whole issue is. In
2013, you went in an election and you performed, so to speak, pretty well. When you have got 38 MCAs voting unanimous, this is like a unanimous kind of decision to adopt that motion for you to be impeached deputy governor. Out of 42, these are the same people who voted for you overwhelmingly. What does that really sound to you in terms of your leadership in the county?
So
it's more of like a vote of no confidence.
So I am not elected by MCAs. I'm elected.
They have influence.
I am elected by the people of Siaya County. You need to go to the ground to just do a temperature check on Siaya County. I will tell you that I am on the side of the people. I am not elected by MCAs. And I just want to implore them to do that which is right. Because they are going to be judged by how they handle this particular case. They have another window to do the right thing. There's this 14-member committee. I hope that, they are going to go through some moment of introspection so that they do the right thing. I will tell you that those grounds that they have advanced, that I am seeing there, they are frivolous.
Okay.
They have no ground at all. I will prove it next week.
You'll have a time with that committee on 6th. What is your relationship with your member of parliament?
Pretty bad, by the way, I must tell you. Samuel Atandi, and he is one of the reasons that James Orengo and I have had issues. I will tell you this. There are those of us that want proper service delivery to the mamambogas and the young men and women of Siaya County. But there are the other side that think it is their time to eat. And because what I did when we first joined, I made sure that I put in place the right internal control systems so that there is no theft in finance. And this is how I was able to know that people had started getting money out of the county because of the controls I had put in place. Now, if you have people that are interested in stealing and eating, they will obviously start fighting you. You see, there are people that feel that I was too close to governor and I needed to be neutralized. That is the school of thought that Samuel Atandi belongs to.
Okay. Deputy Governor, you are also accused of working in cohort with the Kenya Kwanza administration. Would you confirm or deny?
No. That's an extremely unfortunate statement. I have heard it. I want to ask the people of Siaya County.
Would you confirm or deny?
And the Republic to give that statement a contempt card. I am firmly in ODM. My leader is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Your heart might be in ODM, but your soul is somewhere else, Deputy Governor.
No, my heart and soul are entirely in ODM. My heart and soul are entirely in ODM. I'm an ODM member, and we must accept divergent views. You see, how come, because now I'm talking about corruption, I have suddenly become a Kenya Kwanza sympathizer? The people that are sympathetic to Kenya Kwanza in Siaya County went to State House openly. I have not gone to State House. I am not affiliated to any party within Kenya Kwanza, not even any leader. I have not even shaken William Ruto's hands. I have not been to State House. I am an ODM member whose party leader is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Does ODM party leader have any effect on your wrangles with Orengo?
How do you mean any effect?
Does he influence? Has he ever called the two of you to a table?
No, actually, I had a meeting with Oburu Odinga last week regarding Siaya and how we need to bring peace and harmony. We had a lengthy engagement, and I am hoping that we'll have a review meeting sometime this week, because we agreed on a few things that were going to happen over the weekend. So I see there's some fair amount of engagement going on there. Yeah.
Okay. Deputy Governor, I'd like you to stay with us.
Right.
We'll take a break. And we come back. I want to ask you a question in terms of you're also accused of gross misconduct, violation of the Constitution, and so far, I mean, the number of MCAs who voted for you to be impeached, as well as the Siaya ODM branch said that you should be expelled from the party. Have you received any formal communication from the party, and what are you going to do about it? Stay with us.
Okay.
All right. Deputy Governor, Siaya County is a man as crossroads with his boss, James Orengo, speaking as it is here on GMK. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be having more with him after this. Stick around. The man at crossroads with his boss, Siaya Governor James Orengo, a legal mind and an accountant by profession. Two strong professions, so to speak. Deputy Governor, welcome back. The question I wanted to ask you, or before we took a break, was that 38 out of 42 MCs, I'll still go back there, voted to impeach you. Now, why did you have to go back to your home turf of Oloo, if not Siaya County? Because most of the times we see you speak, anytime you speak, you always back to Oloo, where predominantly you take control of. Why not the entire Siaya County?
So I am the deputy governor for the great county of Siaya, not Oloo Songa. I happen to come from Oloo Songa, but I represent the 6 sub-counties. If I notice injustice in game, I will talk about it just as vigorously as I would talk about it if it was happening in Oloo Songa or Bondo or Ugunja. It doesn't matter, because I'm representing all the 6 sub-counties.
Okay. Later on, I'd want us to do something. If you're to take your phone right now and call Governor James Orengo,
yes,
would you do that?
Yes. You know, I'm on record having said that James Orengo wields executive authority. If he wants this noise and issue addressed today, it will end today. I have said that I'm not a rabble rouser. I'm not making noise because I want to make noise. I just want to make things straight. If he can invite me to the table today, I would go there and I will tell him, Governor, these are the loopholes that we need to seal. And these are the characters that have stolen money. Let us have some sanctions on them. If we agree on those governance issues, my friend, it will be, I will be rolling my shirt sleeve up to go and work for the people here. Because you see, as we continue squabbling, as it were, service delivery is affected. It is the people that we want to serve that are suffering today. So, again, I ask my friend James Orengo, be the bigger person in this.
Do you have your phone here with you, Governor?
Yes,
Deputy Governor?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please, we want to do something that we've never done on the show before.
Right.
To call Governor James Orengo and look for a meeting with him. Right. We'll do that on air so that we square this matter once and for all here on a national broadcaster. We will do it. If you can call Governor James Orengo here live on air, I know he'll pick your call and then set for a meeting. Okay. But even that is happening. I have got papers here and copies.
Right.
I'm not yet in a position to authenticate the these monies.
Yes.
But the question running from millions of shillings, 7 million shillings, 15 million shillings, and the other one is 8, 7, etc., etc. Some going back as early as last year, 20th November, 16th December, and this 20th November. I hope this just but a few copies.
Yes.
Have you ever had any kind of external resolution to solve this issue instead of going to the media?
How do you mean external resolution? Going to ESCC or DCI?
Exactly.
So I was trying to exhaust internal mechanism, which I started with James Orengo, executive, then I went to assembly, and now that we've exhausted that mechanism, I am going to hand over the document, the rest of the documents to the ESCC. Yes. To carry out investigation, and I believe that I shall be vindicated.
The question that I want to ask you is that what about Siaya? There's a proposal that you need to be expelled from the party. Any official communication from the from the party?
There has been no official communication from the party, Siaya. And on what account? Because I am talking about people stealing public money. On what account? What would be the grounds for my expulsion? And expulsion comes from the ODM headquarters, and they have not communicated. Yeah.
So you've not gotten any communication from the party, etc., etc.
No.
Governor, there is an amount of 950,000 shillings in question. Was it surrenders as an imprest?
So the way, it's very interesting, by the way. I mean, and I have said this requisition that I have just shared with you, the 11 million, the 15 million, the 7 million, the 21 million, when this money is transferred to imprest, then junior officers are used to withdraw the money, 950,000, and basically, in a bid to circumvent the central bank requirement of 1 million, junior officers are used, they write checks for them, 950,000, as you have seen, and I have bank statements here.
Yes.
So one junior officer goes to Equity Bank, Siaya, withdraws money, 950,000, 4-5 times in a day. That is not just 950,000, that's close to 4 million, 5 million, 6 million. And Victor, this happens every 2 to 3 days. I mean, what kind of impunity is that? This is blatant theft of public money.
Okay, and Governor, if you seem to have what we call a dossier, and you've threatened that if all this continues, then you will release the dossier, then why keep it a secret? If there is a problem in Siaya County, why don't you release it to the public or even to the relevant authorities for action to be taken?
I just told you that I have. This week, yesterday, I submitted that document that I shared with the Assembly, with EACC. So I have gone then to the next level now, because I have exhausted, I believe, internal mechanism. So I have handed it over to the EACC.
Okay.
And I believe that justice is going to be carried out.
When you look at the entire situation, I mean, the two of you are distinguished members of this society.
Right.
Don't you really think this is painting Siaya County in a very bad picture, generally?
So, what is the cost of keeping quiet? Again,
a good question.
People have told me, William Oduol, it is only 7 months, 5 months since you were elected. Couldn't you wait and start making noise, say, 4 years later, 4.5 years later? So I wait, and people still, for 4 years, and then towards the tail end of this term, that's when I complain. Will I have helped the people? I am making noise now so that we can fix it and focus on transforming and impacting lives for the remainder of the 4 years. That's why I want us to fix it today, not tomorrow. That's why I've decided to talk about it 6 months into our administration, so that we can fix, and then we are left with 4 years for effective, efficient service delivery.
What is the general situation in terms of service delivery? Schools, hospitals in Siaya County, 8 months down.
And that is the other thing that really pains me. Because, look, we're withdrawing 950, 4, 5, 6 times, 5 million, 8 million every 2 days. In county headquarters of Siaya, sometimes Kenya Power disconnects electricity because we are not able to pay a 3 million bill. When we had tractors, sometimes they would be parked in Siaya because we are not able to fuel them, 5,000, 6,000 fuel. When people are stealing this kind of money, we promised, we had a 9-point agenda. We promised the people water, good health, bursaries, youth and women empowerment, amongst many others. For this to happen, we must protect their money. We must ensure that that money is put into good use. When we started the first 3 months, we had medicine in hospitals. Today, basic medicine like Panadol, we don't have them in the health centers and health facilities. And that's leadership.
That's leadership, and you should be taking responsibility because you're part of the executive.
100%. And I take responsibility. That's why I want to fix things. See, I'm not running away from the blame. I am as guilty as charged. James Orengo and I, he is the CEO, I'm the deputy CEO. We need to fix our house so that we can focus on service delivery. But I'm not going to keep quiet when people are stealing public money.
Are you acting on behalf of, quote unquote, someone else?
So, You know, I am an independent person, man with an opinion. And I also like expressing my opinion. You see, who could I be working on behalf? On behalf? I am working on behalf of the people of Siaya County. Those are the people that elected me. And by the way, I want to disabuse this notion. Because people have been saying, William Oduol, I mean, why don't you just resign? Resign nikienda wapi?
That's the question, because you've also been implored to resign,
yes,
or get impeached by the members of the County Assembly. Listen,
let them go ahead with that impeachment. I have said, bring it on. I am not scared one bit by an impeachment threat that is not grounded on law by members of the County Assembly. I am also not resigning, because if I resign, the perpetrators are going to be super emboldened. They are going to steal big time. Today, they are extremely scared. Even if they are stealing, they are watching over their backs. I am telling you, if I am resigning, and by the way, I need to make this absolutely clear. If I'm resigning, let James Orengo also resign, because this is one ticket. I had my photo in the ballot, Orengo had his photo in the ballot. Section 180 of the Constitution, subsection 6, says the governor and the deputy governor are elected. We are Siamese twins. We are elected together as one ticket. If I am resigning, James Orengo also needs to resign. I am happy for us to both resign so that we give the electorate the opportunity to elect leaders of their choice. If that is what it is, then let both of us seek fresh mandate from the electorate, and let's see who is going to be victorious.
Okay. DG, when you look at the front pages again, we have got 3 papers. All of you, it's about the deputy governors. Do you understand your mandate as the deputy governor?
Yes, we do actually. I think it is the governors that sometimes overstep or outstretch their boundaries. We are deputy governors. They are governors. We are their principal assistants. You see, I was on a station somewhere and I said, you cannot legislate morality. You know, morals, norms, habits, behavior, you cannot legislate. I want to give you an example. His Excellency, the governor for Mombasa, Abdul Shomad, his deputy, he has given his deputy 3 dockets. There are 10 ministries in counties. His deputy has 3 dockets. Those ministers reporting to him. His Excellency Kangata in Muranga has given his deputy another 3 dockets with a chief officer in the deputy governor's office. His Excellency Waiguru, her deputy, all ministers reporting to her deputy. What am I saying? That you do not, I have been saying that we need to anchor the roles and responsibilities of deputy governors in the Constitution. But even before we do that, if there is goodwill on the part of the governor, all the governor needs to do is to do an executive order.
Yeah.
Look what President William Ruto has done. He did an executive order, defined roles for his deputy, and even assigned some small budget for his deputy.
Deputy Governor, we are almost coming to the close, but you said you're not going to resign, and you've also dared the MCAs to go ahead and impeach you. You have a day with them come 6th of June. As per the communique from the County Assembly, you're appearing before the 14-member committee. Look straight to the camera and face people of Siaya County. Today, you are appearing before the front page of the daily, all these dailies. Given time and space, what would you do differently to bring sanity in that county?
So if I was sitting in James Orengo's shoes today, I would call for truce. He is the CEO of the county. But from me to the people of Siaya, I want to commit to you that the manifesto, the commitments that we gave with my friend James Orengo, they still remain. I am committed to ensuring that in as much as possible and in a very accelerated basis, I would like us to resolve this stalemate so that we are able to focus on service delivery. I am very clear in my conscience that I'm on the side of the people. And I am not going to keep quiet, especially if I see public money pilfered, plundered, expropriated. I am committed to ensuring that tenets, good governance, transparency, and accountability remains the bedrock of our administration in Siaya County.
Deputy Governor, I have got questions here,
yes.
And allow me to ask you this. Someone is asking you, is Deputy Governor already campaigning for 2027?
You see, it's too early, by the way, to campaign for 2027.
For politicians, there's no time left.
No. I mean, really, it would be foolhardy to start campaigning for 2027 at this defining moment. Every politician is ambitious. I am also ambitious. But there are many positions I could go for. People assume that I want to go and run for governor, and I'm not saying no. I could still run for MP for Oloo Sanga. I could still run for deputy governor under Orengo or somebody else. I could run for senator. So I have many options. But at this point in time, I want to counsel and encourage that we focus on the job in hand. The job at hand is the commitment, the manifesto that we sold to the people of Siaya. I am more focused on delivering that manifesto over the next 4.5 years as against, the politics of 2027. Politics of 2027 is going to be informed by how well we deliver on our commitments. So I'm currently focused on ensuring that we do exactly that.
Another question here is, since you started raising the concerns, I think the person wanted to confirm if the issue of the allegations has stopped, either the pilferage of this money or the withdrawals have stopped.
So I have
Or is it continuing?
I don't know, because I've been elbowed out from management of county affairs. If it is continuing, my hunch, my hypothesis, if it is continuing, then it is very limited. It is not as abrasive as it were earlier on before I arrested. I am also informed that they have now stopped Impressed. Governor Orengo on national TV somewhere in March said he stopped Impressed in December. He did not. So Impressed continued through to March. But I am now told that they have stopped it, which is a good thing, if it has stopped. But as to whether they are still pilfering, I don't know. I just hope that they are doing it with some amount of decorum.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always good to have feedback here. Somebody is saying that you can't mention integrity in Siaya and still survive. That's a county of doom. That is from Vincent Kano.
So that's why I'm persecuted, because this path that I have taken is not always traveled. And particularly when you're part of the executive, you will always want to be part of the gravy train. You will always want to be part of the loot. I have chosen the less traveled path, and I have decided that I'm going to be the unpopular one and stand on the side of the people so that we provide service.
And lastly, just a simple one, wild goose chase. You will not make it, Deputy Governor. This is from Stephen Otieno.
Opinion is divided. He is entitled to his opinion as much as I am entitled to mine. My glass is always half full. And in all this, there's some silver lining.
There's some silver lining.
There's some silver lining.
Deputy Governor, let's stop. We'll also look for Governor James Orengo, for him to have his day to also, he's an accomplished lawyer, so we would imagine probably he's also taking his time and putting his sound is in order. At the opportune time, we'll also have time with him so that you can ask him this kind of questions. But as always, it's always good to put you on that hot seat and answer questions, because Kenyans would really want to understand what is happening across the country. When such kind of allegations coming into millions of shillings, I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer.
Yeah.
And And Siaya people are taxpayers. They need to know what's happening. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Deputy Governor, Siaya County, CPA, William Oduol, joining us here on People and Politics. Did he answer your questions? Talk to us on our social media platform. Thank you so much, Governor, for joining us. Deputy Governor.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Karibu
And asante sana. Keep up your good job.
All right. Thank you. And let's take a break. Jim K continues shortly after this.